Others might be taken, but not me. Destin Reese sipped from his cup. Unperturbed, Hong Chingsha hurriedly chased Dahlia Nicholson, pulling Destin Reese along. Wait, Dahlia Nicholson, just a moment. Destin Reese wants to talk to you. Nikki's lips curled, as if she'd foreseen this. Turning, she crossed her arms, a regal posture. What's this? Can't keep up the act anymore. Thought you were so resilient, but in the end, my allure was too much. Speak up then. I'm curious. Why are you pleading with me? Destin Reese gestured to the left and said gravely, You're headed the wrong way. The gate's over there. Please proceed. What? Destin's words left the Jade Maiden Sisterhood disciples dumbfounded. They had expected Destin to be begging them to stay and crying regretfully. But goodbye. That shouldn't be a part of his script. Destin, what are you doing? Are you provoking Brittany on purpose? Nikki glared at him. She had asked him to make her stay, not send her out. Why, you're too much. Brittany was livid after coming to her senses. Right now, she couldn't care less about maintaining her goddess-like demeanor. She took out her sword instantly, ready to kill. When has she ever been treated like this? It was humiliating. What are you guys doing? Just then, an authoritative voice rang out. Everyone saw a 30 to 40-year-old woman, dressed like royalty, walk in. An elderly woman accompanied her. The middle-aged woman had a curvy figure and exuded charm. Her gaze was sharp and full of pride. She appeared like someone who kept people at a distance. On the other hand, the elderly woman behind her looked gloomy. As she didn't smile, she looked stern. Madame Edith. Brittany's expression brightened when she saw her, and she immediately led the disciples up to greet her. The newcomer was none other than the head of the Jade Maiden Sisterhood, Edith Parker. What is going on here? Edith glanced around the room while looking displeased. She said, The Jade Maiden Sisterhood disciples should carry themselves with the maidens. What's with all the fighting and killing? This is unacceptable. Grace of Madam Edith, it's this bastard's fault. He's trying to chase us out. Brittany pointed a finger at Destin, playing the victim. Hey, don't twist the truth. You were the one trying to take our place. But I didn't let you, Destin retorted impassively. Humph, you had ulterior motives toward me and played hard to get. You got angry and chased us out once you found out I was not interested in you. You're despicable. Brittany yelled. Brittany, this is a misunderstanding. Let's talk this out. Nikki tried to mediate the situation. Nikki, how can you speak up for an outsider? Brittany frowned. I just think the environment is nice here. It's a suitable place for Madam Edith's training. There's no need to escalate things further. It's better to resolve things now, Nikki advised. Sure, I won't pursue the matter, but he must apologize. Brittany pointed her sword at Destin. What if I don't apologize? Would you leave again? I won't send you off then. You. Brittany seethed in anger. Enough. Edith raised a hand to stop their bickering. She declared coldly, I like this place. It's not bad. We'll settle down here. Madam Edith, there are a lot of disgusting men here. They're dirty and smelly. It'll be hard for us to stay here if we don't. Drive them out. Brittany added fuel to the fire. Brittany, this is Destin's manor. It's not right to drive the owner out. If word gets out, it'll ruin our reputation, Nikki warned. Hey, why do you keep speaking up for him? Brittany was upset. Forget about it. Let them stay here for now. We are important people, so we need someone to serve us anyway. Edith glanced at Destin and said coldly, Hey, you there, prepare our rooms. We only want the best. Here, consider this a reward. As she spoke, she flicked a finger. A gold coin dropped at Destin's feet. And with that, she let her people in without any care. HMPH, consider yourself lucky. You got another chance to get close to me. But I'm warning you, you better not have inappropriate thoughts. Brittany snorted and followed the group inside. What a bunch of lunatics. Destin shook his head as he mumbled to himself. He finally realized where Brittany's confidence came from. How could their disciples be any better if they had such an arrogant leader? Well, my teacher has a cold personality. Please don't take it too hard. Brittany was feeling awkward. Forget about it. I'd rather not argue with women. Dustin waved his hand dismissively. He would have driven them out much earlier if it wasn't for Nikki. He was indebted to Nelson and could only repay him by helping his family. Thank God. Nikki breathed a sigh of relief before changing the subject. She asked, "By the way, I want to ask you something. Since you're the boss here, have you ever heard of the Jade Maiden Scripture?" Jade Maiden Scripture? What's that? Dustin's brows furrowed. The Jade Maiden Scripture is the Jade Maiden Sisterhood's long-lost treasure. Madam Edith hasn't been able to break through to the grandmother level because she's missing a crucial technique from the scripture. I heard it was recently found in the southern province, Millsburg, but I'm still not sure who has it, so I thought to ask if you heard of anything. Nikki briefly explained the situation. After their brief interaction, she unknowingly started to trust him. She hadn't even noticed it herself. The Jade Maiden Scripture, was it? All right, I'll have someone check about it discreetly. I'll let you know immediately when there's news. Dustin nodded. Not bad. You're quite efficient. Nikki nodded in satisfaction. Don't worry. Once we find the Jade Maiden Scripture, I'll speak to Madam Edith on your behalf and have her reward you handsomely. Even marrying Brittany won't be a problem when that time comes. Ha, thanks, but keep her for yourselves. Dustin looked disgusted. Only an idiot would fall for Brittany. Dustin returned to his room once he completed the arrangements for the Jade Maiden Sisterhood disciples. He started healing his injuries. The poison from Septa Mortis still affected him, and he could only try to suppress its effects. Paul Hill's death was still a mystery. The murderer had disappeared without leaving any clues, and it was challenging to find a breakthrough. He had only 6 days left, and the Martial Arts Alliance members had their eyes on him. If he couldn't find the murderer, there would be no way to conclude this. Just as his mind was full of distressing thoughts, his phone rang. It was a call from Dahlia. Without even thinking, he rejected the call. However, in a few seconds, his phone rang again. After Dustin rejected the call, Dahlia would call again. This repeated a few times before Dustin couldn't take it any longer. He answered the call in annoyance. "What do you want?" he questioned harshly. "Dustin, I need to speak to you. Tonight at 8 p.m. I'm not leaving till you come." Dahlia's voice was hoarse. "Sorry, I'm busy. I don't have the energy to talk to you." Dustin refused immediately. "I'll kill myself if you don't come." Then she hung up. It was 8 p.m. Inside Rose Cafe, Dahlia was seated by the window. She had both hands wrapped around her cup of coffee. Her mood was heavy as she watched the rain fall outside. She looked exhausted. Since last night, she had been in a trance and felt dispirited. All she could think of was Dustin and their memories. She had tried so hard to mend their relationship, but whatever she did, it seemed to pull them further apart. She slowly realized that Dustin seemed to care less about her now. He no longer put her first and considered her feelings either. She was terrified at the thought that they had turned into enemies, especially after the decisive look he gave her last night. Just then, Dahlia heard the sound bell hanging at the door. She turned her head instinctively and saw a familiar figure enter. It was none other than Dustin. "You're here." Dahlia's eyes lit up, and she appeared more animated as she stood up. "What did you call me here for?" Dustin took a seat stoically. "We haven't sat down and talked in a long time, have we?" Dahlia had mixed feelings. "About last night, let's clear up our misunderstandings. Will you even believe me? Why should I waste my time if you won't?" Dustin said impassively. "So you won't even talk to me anymore?" Dahlia frowned slightly. "What do you want me to say?" "I made myself clear yesterday." "I'm not going to repeat myself." Dustin shook his head. "I just hope you'll tell me the truth and not hide anything from me." Dahlia responded, sincerely. "All right, you want the truth. Then I'll tell you everything from the start.